guys, it's candidly speaking. I don't even know the name of this new channel. By the way, this is my vlogging channel. Simply Candid is my normal fashion, makeup, things like that, lifestyle kind of videos, and this is just where I say whatever that's on my mind, talk about topics and just talk as long as I want, where I'm not in that specific time frame that I'm trying to make. So, today I wanted to talk about the controversial, whichever way you want to say it, topic of Becky. So I'm kind of dumbfounded that people actually think calling a non-person of color, aka Caucasian, aka white, aka white woman, Becky, is new, because it's really not. There's a guy, he's pro-black, and he's a part of the, Black Lives Matter, not all live, Black Lives Matter movement. It's like King something, I don't even remember his name, but he refers to, Caucasians as Caveman Becky. So it's nothing new that people are calling it. It's a nickname that's been used for a while. It's not new simply because Beyonce put it in her song. I have 2 points that I want to make during this video. For one, I want to talk about not only how it's hypocritical that people are getting upset, but it's kind of not even such a big issue as we're making it, right? And then the second one is going to be how I reacted to Beyonce's reference of Becky in her, new album, in the new song, and, how I feel about that. So first we're going to talk about how Becky's been used in, in general, and how I feel that it should be interpreted. So, Becky is a common name for a Caucasian woman, correct? So, what my point of view on, Caucasian women being offended by being termed as Becky's is kind of, I think it's hypocritical of them to be so upset when, for not centuries, for, the last decade at least, they've been nicknaming black women, stereotypical black ghetto names. And so, for example, I can't tell you how many times I was in school and I'd hear people talking and they'd be like, haha, I bet her name's like LaQuisha or Sharkeisha. The Sharkeisha video was viral. We don't even know that was her really, that maybe it was her name, I don't even remember, but Sharkeisha, like, referring to different black people as stereotypical ghetto names, So I feel like white people, Caucasians, have done this for centuries, even calling us out of our name and even going as far as using the N-word, We've been endlessly slandered, and the one time that we have nicknames, like, what nicknames have you heard of for white people? There's not many compared to the ones we have for black people, and the ones we have aren't as demeaning or don't have as much historic background as the ones we term for black people, So generally, the terms we have against black people are much worse than the terms we have for white people, right? So I feel like Becky, because it's such a stereotypical Caucasian person name, that's why it was coined as, that's what we're going to nickname all Caucasian women. And we just put them in one boat. And I'm not saying that stereotyping anyone is okay, but I feel that if you yourself have been known or have personally, called a person of color by a stereotypical, name or slander or whatever, you don't have a right to be upset at such an innocent thing as being called Becky. Like, I really don't see how that's such a bad thing, simply because it's not actually having anything negative behind it. If you're calling someone of, let's say, Beyonce's term, she said, you better call Becky with the good hair, right? So, there's nothing actually negative behind that other than the name she's implying that it's a white person, Becky. It's a white woman. There's no other, negative connotation that really comes with that, It's just a nickname for all white women. Whereas, we've been called Keisha, Denisha, Tyrone, people just nickname black people stereotypical names even without knowing their name. So I don't feel that it's as bad as we're making it out to be, and I feel like it's really not something that should be like big news. Like, it's not anything that's really that controversial in my opinion. Now, getting to the second part of that was super quick. How I feel about, when she says, "You better call Becky with that good hair," and just the album Lemonade itself, I feel that, okay, so there's two different things going on between this album, that people are talking about. For one, it's the fact that the album does specify specifically on their, relationship, and it implies that there's some infidelity that's going on, some adultery going on. So there's that implied, but then the camera died. Okay, so, and the second part is just it's been said that it's all for like a promotion hoax. Like, they're not really going through anything. They just kind of wanted to, get some juiciness onto it to make people want to buy it and listen to it and find out what's going on, get people talking. The only problem with that is the fact that the only problem with both of those theories is that it was posted onto Tidal, which we all know was started by Jay-Z. So the things that you could make out from this is that either, one, he did cheat and he's super guilty about it, and maybe Beyonce shares part of that company, and she was like, "Listen, if you want me to stick around and give you a second chance, I'm gonna write this bomb-ass album." Told you guys I'm not about to censor myself. So I'm gonna give you this bomb-ass album, and you have to put it on Tidal. Your company, our company. I think she shares in it. I don't know. She probably does, because, why wouldn't you do that? They're two huge moguls, why not? So they're gonna put that on Tidal. So, the funny thing is, there's these memes that are saying that, maybe Jay-Z never heard it until she dropped it, which is highly unlikely, because I feel that they're at a point where they both knew what was going on, and they decided, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. This is how I'm going to express myself in this breakup. Not breakup. Ooh, no. They're not gonna break up, please, God. No. But this is how we're gonna get through this incident, by letting me express myself how I want to. And if that's through music, that's how she's gonna do it. And she did it beautifully. The video, the movie, cinematic masterpiece was executed perfectly. It was beautiful. And the songs have so much meaning, and of course it's not as, as poppy and boppy and, upbeat as we know Beyonce to be sometimes. It's more personal and sentimental and more, getting to a deeper connection. And I feel that that's something I heard from another video. I think African Boy made a review, and he said, we as humans like hearing people talk more about suffering sometimes and sadness, and because well, let me finish that. We like hearing about suffering and sadness over hearing about happiness sometimes, simply because in my head, this is why I think it is. I feel like it's simply because there's more passion sometimes in the sadness, and you hear the struggle, and you hear the depth, and you hear all of that in the person's voice, whereas in a happy song, it's not as much soul that's put into it sometimes. There are some happy songs that you're like, yeah, she put that, she worked that, but I feel like you hear more of that, and you can relate more, and sometimes it's just refreshing to connect to a celebrity on a more personal level, So I feel that that's what that is. I don't know if there's actually a Becky out there. If she is, the Beehive is coming for her, because we all saw how they reacted. I don't feel that it was necessary to attack so many people, and especially that one girl, not Rachel Ray, but Rachel Roy. They went as far as commenting on her daughter's Instagram, and I don't feel that was appropriate whatsoever, because her daughter had nothing to do with that in the end. If it was her, they can deal with her, but honestly, it's none of our business. We're outsiders looking in. I feel that we sometimes overstep our boundaries as, fans. Being a fan doesn't entitle you to, try to... I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I feel that there's boundaries with being a fan of someone, and I feel that if someone has an issue with someone, it's not for your army to swarm and snatch that person's edges, whereas the Beehive has been doing for Rachel Roy. I feel that Beyonce and Rachel Roy, if that's the case, I'm not saying that's the case, I don't know if that's the case, I hope it's not the case, I hope Becky doesn't exist, but what I'm saying is, they should hash that out. It's not up to us, because we don't know what happened for real, you know, and what's the chances that it wasn't her and people are like slamming this chick for no reason, you know, and there's so many other people that they're assuming it was. So, you know, putting all that negative energy out there to people who it might not even be about, and the person that it's about might not even exist, like, I feel that we're definitely out of our place for doing that, because what are the odds, you know? And, you know, the fact that Rachel Roy did post that picture with that caption is kind of suspicious in itself, and I feel like maybe either she didn't know what was going on, or it was just a coincidence that she chose to caption it like that, but I don't know. Maybe she just wanted some publicity, but to be honest, I tried to look up on her, and it said she was some kind of fashion designer, and I looked at some of the fashion, and I was like, not about to see you at New York Fashion Week anytime soon. My bad. I love fashion, so, you know, when I feel that someone's famous for something they don't really, like, their work, the quality doesn't even amount to their fame, it doesn't really make sense. And I'm not even saying that she's famous, because this is the first time I've ever heard her name. I for real thought they said Rachel Ray, just like everyone else on Twitter, but, you know, I guess not. And the fact that, you know, I just feel like it's crazy that if it's true, if he did, you know, cheat and the album's telling the truth and Beyonce was just going hard on him, I feel that it's crazy that a man like Jay-Z would cheat on a woman like Beyonce. And, you know, I can't necessarily fully put my belief in that statement, simply because we don't know Beyonce really. We only know what she portrays to us, what we've gotten, what we think of her, our expectation of her. So, you know, we don't know her flaws, and we always, you know, put them on a pedestal. Like, I know countless of people that would say, you know, Beyonce is queen, Beyonce is God, which she mentioned she was not. There's a quote, I'll put the picture right here, or right here, where she says, you know, basically, don't compare me to God because I am not him. God is God, I am not. I think it's something like that. And, you know, it's really important that we stop putting them on such pedestals, because we don't know what's going on with them in their actual lives, you know, and we can't assume that we understand or we know without having anything to base it off of, you know. So, yeah, that's how I basically feel about that. I mean, if Beyonce is going through the struggle, I pray that, you know, these album sales help her out. Just kidding. But yeah. Oh, another thing to add to the why I think it might be real is because the whole Solange in the elevator, like kicking Jay-Z's butt basically, I feel like that's probably connected into what happened in this album's making, you know? I feel that what happened in this album happened around that time, and Solange was probably sticking up for her sister. I think that's probably what happened. But, you know, I don't know nothing, you know. Let me sip my tea. Like, watch this in, like, the next week. She'll be like, no. But, you know, we don't know anything about their lives, and it's hard for us to even come with a conclusion because, you know, we're not insiders. We're just consumers looking into their lives. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about that. If you like this video, go ahead and comment down below what you thought about it. Tell me how you feel, like, what's your conspiracy theory? How do you feel about the whole situation? How do you feel about the term Becky? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to find out. If you agree, I'd also love to find out. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever you want to do. Thank you for listening to me talk, and hopefully I'll see you soon.